Right, legends, welcome to the crypto market review. So, continuing on from last time, we've been in really tight range. So, continuing on from last time, we were talking about this range here. So, we've been stuck within here. Okay, up, down, but not much happening. It pushed up. Okay, if you got back out, even if you shorted, that's fine. I was saying the higher time frame still remains bullish, bigger picture. I mean, not bullish, bigger picture, but I'm looking for higher prices for the reasons I've given. We're coming off macro support level still. Okay, so I'm just going to resume. And if you can't hear, then that's you. Everybody else can hear. So, what do we do in this case? So, I want to see if we can possibly, I mean, could this be the low? We've taken out some minimum stops here. Let me just adjust this level here. Just so it's accurate. Everybody, we're still at range. So I want to see possibly one more run, okay? Possibly break this trend line as well. But the top of this consolidation and this range that we discussed, this being our macro range level. One of the early candles, this was a range level from there. It's in the last review. Okay, so what I would like to see is, for a possible long, is coming towards here, retest, and then deviate back above. And then I'm going to take the long trigger. I'll cut in a clean break below here. I'll go towards target 1 if it starts turning. If it makes a clean break and hold above, then target 2 towards there. Now, for some reason, if it doesn't give me that, then I will be looking for a breakout play. Okay? You can look at it like this, or if you want to draw it like this, absolutely no problem. That's whatever fits your style. It doesn't really matter. This time around is retested. There's a key support level, whereas last time it didn't. It's taken out the stops. And if you continue, there's your long. Whatever the swing low is, you can keep a hard stop, whatever the swing low is. But if it starts to break back down within, below this range high again, we'll look to start scaling out. And we're going to be looking for this as our next objective. That's the next range level. 18.3K is the mid-range level we spoke about on the other chart. And it's as simple as that. So before I continue, is that clear? Straightforward setups, continuing on from last time. There's not much to it. Bitcoin hasn't done nothing. It's not done nothing. There's really nothing to update. Now, for those that say, well, it could go up from here. If you are going to scale in from here, I would say invalidation must be below this consolidation here, because then that will take you below here. So if it happens that we start breaking below here, if you're going to do it here, small size, scale in small, do really small size, okay? And then wait for either the trigger plan like this or the breakout plan. Now, where would we be wrong? I would say if it makes a clean break below here and starts holding and finding resistance, then it's game over in my opinion. Then we're going to look for the shorts down there. Target 1, this swing low, and target 2 towards here. Is everybody clear? Maybe lower down. I would map out the plans for lower down targets if or when the time comes. I want to see what more we work with, but I want to mark it out then. One more thing to also note is that we're at last week's mid-range. So if I go to the weekly chart, and I'll start, we're going to mark out quickly last week's range levels, last week's high, last week's low, and you can do it neatly on your chart, last week's mid-range. That comes at 16659.64. Let me draw that out. 16659.64. 16659.64. We've just, I think there's some exchanges we have, others we haven't, but regardless, it's a zone, isn't it? And we're close enough. So let's see if we can tag that's last week's mid-range. So we don't want a clean break below last week's mid-range. The market is capped within the top half of last week's range. Okay? No, I don't use tower. I just use what you see me use, mate. Bear divergence. Yeah, I don't look at those kind of bear divergences and stuff. That's if you use that in your method, it helps you. That's fine. That's not something I look at. No, I don't need to look at. But if you do use it and you find value, absolutely use it. Okay? There's loads of tools that I may not use. Okay? And that you may use that are very useful to you. Happy days, carry on. But what I use sort of works for me. But yes, add it on if it works for you. Happy days. If it gives you factors of confluence. I'm just trying to read what the general price action is telling me. Okay? So yeah, so that's what we want to see. If I quickly zoom out a bit, that weekly, if you look at the weekly candles, that weekly candle is still okay. we're just about retesting it. So if it's going to start turning, it's going to start turning now. Now on the breakout play, that breakout play would be a break above the monthly open and above the weekly open. So we should start seeing expansion to the upside for that candle. Okay, hello Ad, how are you? So for that reason, we're at that make or break point. We're also testing that weekly high here. So there's a cluster of factors here, of support factors to line up with a possible bounce here. However, if that does go game over, so we're going to start looking shorts, like I mentioned. And we're going to keep it simple as that. Nothing else more to it. Now, I will be mentioning ES in this, but let me do F first. And the reason why I've done Wi-Fi, I've been hearing friends of mine have been telling me some whales are accumulating this for a, whether it's a scam pump or not. We will trade the chart regardless. I will go over why I posted this after I do what I have to do. So another way of looking at it, so this is another one, factor of confluence, which this is the other range levels. Okay, so if you're new, you're gonna have to watch the other one, but we've come down, we've deviated below this range level. So if we're still holding onto a possible support area, then if we get maybe whether it comes down or it doesn't have, by the way, it does not have to come down, retest this. Okay, it does not have to, because these price levels here that we call thin move have been traded towards many times already. Okay, for that reason we don't have to. So if it does something like this and starts holding, well, that's a breakout. That's then a deviation, and then we can long that towards there, target 1 and then target 2 if you want. That's just the range level. Okay, they're all clustered together in the same area regardless. Okay, we can do that, or we can use this range level as a breakout play area. Okay, but if correct on the idea, and if zooming out a bit, okay, clear everything up, we have technically broken out, okay, of this. That was capping the market. This was the main area capping the market. Okay, this consolidation, that was a deviation, and this is why it's a make or break point for now. So if we want to be sure, or the odds in our favor that the market has broken out, then this is so for those that ask what a clean breakout is, well, this was a 5-minute chart, so it's broken out, it's consolidating. Now if it breaks out, that's it. That for me is one definition that I use for a clean breakout, where it's broken out of key resistance area. This is the range that the market's been capped within, and we're seeing if this is a deviation or not. And if it does, that should be a definite breakout for us. If after that if it goes wrong, then okay, that's market's fuckery. We're gonna have to step aside. But following the plan, that would be the most confirmation play you could ask for. And at that point, I do believe we probably go towards here, in my opinion. Okay, because long consolidation leads to long expansion. At that point, we could drop. But before we even go towards that, there are targets along the way, i.e., target 1 area around here. Okay, T1. And then T2. Okay, after that we'll deal with the rest then. Now, what does F tell us right now? Now F pulled down a bit, and that's why I said to you, be careful with F, and if you do take it, you're gonna take it with a small size. F right now, from a naked chart point of view, F is retesting SR. Can you see that? F is now retesting the SR levels. Again, for the confirmation play, if you wish to wait, it would be above here. Now this one's a bit funny. This one's a bit all over the place, in my opinion. It's not as clean as the others, as Bitcoin. It was at one point, but the equivalent for this, in my opinion, would be if we were to get above here. Okay, so we want to wait for confirmation for this. If it, whatever it does, if it makes a clean break and hold above at this point, I would take that long there, invalidation, and I'm going towards here as first objective, 1420s. Maybe trim some off here. That's fine. You know, a bit of and stops to break even, but this would be an objective. Fill this in towards here, okay, around the 1400s. Now, bigger picture view, if we zoom out a bit, okay, so it is a make or break point. Now, if it's gonna go, it's gonna start going from around by here, maybe one flush lower with Bitcoin, okay. So if you want to wait for Bitcoin to give you your trigger, then for F you can wait for that. That is not a problem at all. So one could say, well, we've got this. What's capping the upside is this. So if you want to wait for that, that's fine. I personally think that 1420 is that range that we should be targeting. Okay, 1420 area. And then possibly a squeeze towards this region, about 1500 area. Okay, now those levels line up with the range level. Okay, so that's the breakout play. So if I was to take a long here, I'd cut it a clean break below here. I'm not too confident on that just yet. Bitcoin gives me the clearer invalidation levels. F can squeeze a bit. It's a higher beta play. So if F pushes down a bit I mean, Bitcoin pushes down a bit, ETH can just squeeze that bit harder. Okay, so it's still a consolidation game. It's still a dead market right now, unfortunately. But soon, looking at ES, which I'm going to explain, and I will do the FX today. I definitely will. Even if there's nothing much, I'm going to repeat the plans, fresh plans, as we've got new levels to work with, or updated ones, or refined levels. So I definitely will be. I've got a YouTube stream at 1. As soon as I do that YouTube stream, I'm going to be jumping on straight up after that. Maybe about 15-20 minute break, and then we'll do that live together as well. Okay, and maybe if crypto's done some updates since then, we may bring that in, but we'll see. No guarantees, as market is the way it is. But yeah, ultimately would be above here, and then this time around, retest SR has been this time retested. So before it hadn't really retested these SR levels. We're going off of stop runs. Okay, this time it has. So we got a clear line in the sand, as you can see, and that would be the clear breakout play. Now, as price develops, it could be below. You think BTC Flush a little bit low to take out? It could do. Like I said, it's just up to whatever. It's not about taking out early longs or not. It's just the next level. Okay, that's it. I'm just looking for the mid-range level. I don't know if it's going to push down low or not. I'm just going with what the market's telling me. But what we do know is that's our macro mid-range level there, 16,541. Remember that macro mid-range level I mentioned? Go to the yearly chart. If you go to the yearly chart, bang on this yearly candle here. Okay, bang on this yearly candle here. That's our key macro range level. Bang on that midpoint. That first target area. So if you want to use these range levels, 18,135, then 19,730. No, my bad. Well, so many range levels, right? When we're confused. So that's we're bang on that macro mid-range level anyway. So for a punt, you can't get better risk to reward than that. Okay, and click break below that, then we know what's happening. We play the second half of last week's range, but there we go. 18,135 and 19,730 are the next objectives. And as you can see, the bit of a mean levels. And if it's really going to go up from that, what you would then do is you map out the midpoint between this one and this one, and lo and behold, that midpoint capped that market right to the tick. Well, nearly to the tick. So this is further confluence that these ranges Bitcoin is moving within is sort of accurate. Okay. We flushed 2 week low. Flushed 2 week low. What are you on about? Flushed. Sorry, I misunderstood. Weak midpoint unless reclaim soon. Yes. So if it breaks down, then yes, absolutely, yes. So that's why I'm gonna go with my short trigger with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the clearer one for me. So Bitcoin can come down a bit, and that could, if Bitcoin comes down a bit, and that will still be a valid long for toward that key support to look for a long, okay, and that would mean if ETH flush is a bit lower, that's completely fine. So it could be the case where if Bitcoin came to that key support for us, well, that's technically still valid. But then you would say, well, what about Ethereum? Well, we would then, because Bitcoin is the one we go with. So one point to make clear: are we all in agreement that it's Bitcoin that leads the way, right? Can we be in agreement on that? Or does that make sense? Bitcoin is the one that leads the way. So sometimes what looks like a breakdown on Ethereum could be a deviation because Bitcoin's coming to a key support. Okay? I'm not looking at alts. I'm just looking at these, sorry. Once these fine, then I'll be looking at alts. Like I said before, I will be not looking at alts until this is clear. So please don't ask me about alts. So what we'll be looking at is, so possible play would be, we got this possible flush low. So if Bitcoin's going to come a bit lower, then that we could argue the case that, okay, if I drag this to the left, that is actually a deviation area. So you see that there, support, deviation, pop up, deviation, consolidation. So worst case scenario, if it does this, because we said Bitcoin could flush a bit lower, and then this reclaims, then I could probably step in. Okay, those stops have been taken. And if I go for a trigger there, then that's the last line in the sand, because that's with that Bitcoin has hit the final level, the extreme level for us now. After that, we're gonna have to start considering shorts. So for then, I would then take the Ethereum trade there, and if you still wish to take a small there and then add the rest upon a break above here, that's completely fine. At least by then we will know that the low of the week is in. If the low of the week is in, then we can look for all sorts of targets. Right now, we don't know. Right now, I've given the case for why I'm looking for higher prices. So, and I don't know where the low of the week is in, but after that, then the low of the week should be in. And once that's in, we can look for all sorts of entries. Okay? And again, if it does happen that we start smashing below here and Bitcoin starts smashing, then most likely we're probably going to go towards these lows here and possibly even take out these lows. So when Bitcoin gives me the short trigger, by default we will have short triggers there. So I will be posting them regardless, okay? So the short triggers, again, I can't map out a clean chart for you because I don't know. But when it does break that level and hold, then we'll start shorting the fuck out of everything we see, even alts probably. Okay? Is that clear for everybody? So confluence with that is yeah, more or less that, really. Okay? So Ethereum is at key pivotal level, may squeeze a bit lower. Would you short us? No, I'm not shorting that for the reason I've given. I would expect a lot higher prices. I wouldn't short that because of the reason I've given you. No. Unless you're looking for scalps, that's different. I'm not looking for scalps, no. If this is going to be a bear market rally and I'm still think ES is pushing up higher, why would I want to short that? We would just be coming out of a big consolidation phase, wouldn't we? If we're just coming out of a big consolidation phase, do you think it's just going to stop there? Most likely it's going to rip some faces after the upside. So no, I wouldn't know for shorts personally. I could be wrong. I'm happy to take that out. But if I'm saying ES has a good case for higher prices still, I'm looking at ES now. We're approaching that mid-range area. I've got the orders in. This is just mid-range for ES. So if this is the mid-range, we look for the retest there. That I'm expecting a slingshot towards there. I wouldn't want to be shorting Bitcoin then. Does that make sense? So there's two ways of playing the ES play. I'll briefly mention it here in case it triggers. I've got my orders in, as you can see there. There's two ways of playing it. This is last week's low. This yellow line is last week's low. So what you could do is wait, let it accumulate, let it do the consolidation phase, and once it reclaims, and then you can go for the ES long. You don't have to go for it there. I'm just going for it because I got a claim validation. Or if you want to go for a small there, the rest there, then there becomes a violation, and then we should start shooting up. You can use mid-to markets. I use. If you want to use normal brokers, you can use CMC markets, IG. I've already tweeted about that. Look under the pinned tweet. I've included the ones I use. I've spoken about the ones I use already. So look at that pinned tweet. You'll see the exchanges and brokers I use. If you want to, if you want to short true trade SPX, the CFD, you can do on PrimeXBT as well. That's a crypto based. So if you want to avoid all the KYC shit, at the same time, avoiding KYC means you're gonna get with a lesser exchange, but it's still good enough. It means not as if you're bloody whales or something. You don't have to worry. But PrimeXBT is probably the best option, unless you know a different one. That's the only one. Or use traditional markets, traditional brokers, which you will have to KYC for those. Everybody traditionally, the ones that I use, I've never come across one that you don't have to KYC. Okay, if you know one, happy days. So that's that. So now maybe that flush comes with this. So soon approaching here. Now the minimum is 38.85. So say for example, say I don't, it doesn't fill me in. Okay, this run could be enough. This could be enough for it. So if it comes into here, it doesn't fill me in, and then what it does is it does this, and then it reclines back above here. I'm happy to take the long there then. Okay, I'll say fuck this. It's not gonna fill me in. If this does this, then Bitcoin's long idea would be high probability. Does that make sense for everybody? Because then the retest now, hasn't it? Remember, bigger picture, let's zoom out a bit. Has anything changed? Maybe we need a booster on this. Nothing's really changed. Okay, let's look at the weekly first. This is just a pullback for now. Okay, could it be the case where it goes lower? Yes, possibly. But that's why we got the mid-range. That mid-range is our line in the sand. We'll allow a little deviation, but our mid-range, everything else still for me is supporting a bear market rally stage. Okay, now with the bear market rally stage, the way I'm looking at it is like this. That's range lows taken, and I'm looking at this as a possible range high. This was the extreme point, and we took out the stops. That is now the extreme point. So maybe a retest. Again, it's got to confirm, and then we should be on our way. If this is the correct, it should be a rocket up. This should be a fast rocket up, in my opinion. I'm basing this on, I've seen bear market rally happen many times. I'm willing to be wrong. If I have to, if I'm wrong, I'll start looking for shorts below. Possibly, I mean, depends how we close. But if we start coming below, say possibly here, I'll probably look for short. Actually, there's another chart I want to show that will be probably a bit clearer, which is confluence with where I want to buy. Is this range of the chart using the 2021 range here? So if I'm using the 2021 range, this range level here is the one I want to look for. Okay. So for now, I'm seeing this as a stop run, flushing out everybody. So this is one you can look at as well. This is a range level. These are the 21 range. So this is 2021 mid range to 2021 low. That's the midpoint of that. So this will be classified as a deviation. Let's do it once it reclaims, then you step in. Maybe it's better if you're more less riskier. Wait for this one. Wait for this trigger. Okay. Now if it starts breaking below here, if it starts doing this, starts breaking that, then I'll start looking for shorts. I'll see what we've got to work with at the time. I'll only do post setups if or when the time comes. Okay. So the bare minimum has been done, in my opinion, by taking out this weekly. Okay. Low. I really want to see that midpoint. Now today, I think we're gonna see what it does today. Okay, so I'll be doing regular updates, and that's why I want to time the FX with that time. 1 second. Okay, so is the plan clear for everybody? Does that make sense? So this is why we got two confluences with the ES now. This is the key level now. Okay. Now once that flushes, watch for Bitcoin to flush into that level. And once it can do that, start looking for this. And if we can do this, okay, then it's game on. And then we start, I think the big rip is going to come there. 2021 mid-range, 4226 is going to be a big level to comprehend with. But we'll mark out each level at a time. The target levels you want to be reaching for. Again, we'll do this in detail in the FX review. 4030, 4102, 4175 using the September range levels. After that, we'll deal with the rest then. So, soon come. Everybody clear with the plans? Finally, I'm doing YFI because I've been told by certain people that there's big wells that are accumulating YFI. And if you look at it from this chart, now, whether they are or not, I'm not going to blindly long it based on that. Okay, I'm going to do it based on my chart. So this can be like an accumulation broken out. What I've done is here, technically it looks sound. Okay, this is the mid-range. So November high to November low. You can see the mid-range being perfectly. So again, wait for it. Let it confirm. So it's squeezed down. We're going to see if this is a deviation or not. It's hit the SR level. Once you can reclaim, automatically you've got a invalidation to work with. The target would be here. That's a good risk to reward, in my opinion. Okay. Now, if you want to play level to level, you've got this range level and that range level, but these clean highs are what would be objective. So just wait, let it do its thing, and if we can get a breakout above, okay, wait for it. Reclaim. That's the invalidation set. Long trigger, cutting a clean break below. Okay, if you wanted a short-term target, you want to take some off there, but I'll be going towards here, and then I like this area here. Because if it is a bear market rally, this is going to be a big move. You got to remember, just because we've been consulting for ages and not doing nothing does not negate the thesis I've been given, and so far it's held those levels. Okay, but again, if it does smash below, we will abandon that. We have to evolve with the market. We will short the fuck out of the market. Everybody clear with that? Does that make sense? Okay, I will catch you guys soon. I'm going to get ready for the YouTube stream. After that, we will do the FX. This is all we've got to work with right now. Again, there's nothing much else. Wait for it. If it doesn't use the trigger, we will be shorting the fuck out of the market. The market collapses, I'll be the first one all over it. We will jump in and ride the fucker down. Take care, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.